Hey everybody, it's me again, Professor Nelson, looking slightly spiffed up here and cleaned up for the upcoming summer. And uh, uh, and what we're going to what I want to do with you today is I want to give you a brief introduction to Chapter Seven's third declension nouns, and talk to you a little bit about how to recognize in the vocabulary which declension a noun comes from. Now, there are 5 declensions in Latin. That means that all Latin nouns can be put into one of 5 patterns. Remember that Latin nouns do not change declensions, they come with their declension. They don't change genders, they come with their gender intact. And so you need to be able to learn which pattern that noun fits into. And third declension is the third of the major patterns. Most Latin nouns can fall into first, second, or third declensions. And so once you have these down, you have a substantial amount of Latin nouns that you can put into a pattern and recognize what case they are and what they're doing in a sentence. So let's take a look for a moment. Now, the way that you recognize a noun in the vocabulary is by the genitive singular ending, the second form. So, for instance, nouns like porta, portai, if the genitive singular ends in ae, that's a first declension noun and will follow the same pattern as for porta. Second declension nouns have I in the genitive singular ending, such as amicus, amici, or in the case of the neuter second declensions, nouns like donum, doni, or for gift. In any case, if they have ae in the genitive singular, it's first declension. If they have I in the genitive singular, it's second declension, and follows those patterns, depending on whether it's a masculine or whether it's a neuter noun. Finally, we come to third declension, and these nouns have is in the genitive singular ending. And it's important that you learn both forms. I've put down here virtus, virtutis, which if you only learned virtus, courage or manliness or something like that, you might think that it was a second declension noun, like amicus. But the second form in the vocabulary, virtutis, tells you 2 things. First of all, since it ends in is, it's a third declension noun. So it's virtus, virtutis, virtuti, virtutem, and so on, instead of like amicus, amici, amico, amicum. Second of all, that genitive singular ending gives you the base for the noun. In nouns like amicus or porta, their base is in the nominative singular. You just take off the ending and stick on the new ending, and there you have it. However, in third declension, the nominative singular does not contain the entire base. The base of virtus, for example, is virtut. That ut at the end is something you wouldn't know unless you learn the genitive singular ending. So, in the vocabulary, as you look through the list, take note of which declension each noun comes from, and especially with third declension nouns, take note of what the base is going to be. You'll need that to be able to recognize the nouns in context. You'll need it for the quizzes and the tests, of course. And you'll need it just to be able to read and figure out what's going on. What this means and why you have to learn it as well is that nouns and adjectives come with their own declensions, and they don't change declensions. So if you're working with a noun that's in third declension and an adjective that's in first or second declension, the spelling at the end of each word is going to look different. So you can't just match spellings at the end like we could at the very first couple of chapters when we only had first declension nouns and first declension adjectives. You have to match them in gender, number, and case. I put a few examples here. For example, with a word like agricolae sani, that's nominative plural for like healthy farmers or something like that. But the agricola comes from first declension and it's masculine. Well, the masculine nominative plural form of sanus is sani. So agricolae sani goes together. Sani modifies agricolae. But it doesn't look like it if you're matching spellings instead of matching gender, number, case. Same thing true with nauta magno or nauta magno. Nauta and magno are both masculine ablative singulars, but they look different. Third declension nouns add a whole new layer of complexity since they can look completely different, like reges parvos, which is masculine accusative plural, tiny kings, and virtutis magnae, feminine genitive singular. Virtutis and magnae are both feminine genitive singular, so they go together, but they don't look anything like each other in their endings. Finally, third declension, neuter nouns and second declension adjectives look different as well. Corpore bello, dative singular, to or for a beautiful body. That might not look like it goes together, but in fact does. The same for temporibus longis. That's dative or ablative plural. In any case, this is a good example of why you need to be able to learn the declensions that each word belongs to in order to realize which words go together. And I know this seems like just a massively complex task at present, but believe me, the more you learn the declensions and get them down, the more intuitive this becomes, and the more natural it seems that these words go together, and the less problem and the less time you take in being able to read a sentence correctly. So this is to say, make sure that you say out loud, you do your declensions out loud, that you get those patterns down, and that you get the vocabulary items down. You'll have a much, much easier time. And it will just go more smoothly, and that's a lot more fun than struggling out a sentence because you haven't learned the basic elements. All right. That's it for me today. And make sure that you post any questions that you have or get a hold of me. Get your homework up there so I can help out with the translations. And good work to you as you're going forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what else we're going to be doing together in the days to come. All right. Ciao.